Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our very, very cold service this morning. We'll begin as we do every time with hymn 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, in your hymnal or in your heart.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, though you've broken your vows a thousand times, though you've broken your vows a thousand times, though you've broken your vows a thousand times, come yet again, come. Otra vez. Ven, ven, que quiera que seas vagabundo, fiel amante de partir, nuestro no es procesión de perder. Ven otra vez, ven, ven otra vez, ven.
It's only the second time I've done this, so I hope you don't mind. I'm still trying to figure out the rhythm. Hi, my name is Dave Nesbitt. I am a man of average height and somewhat above average width, with a shaved head and a white goatee, wearing jeans and a red Omaha Film Festival hoodie. I am currently in the process of trying to remember my name. Anybody who wants to know why can ask me afterward. So with that in mind, let us begin with our chalice lighting. As a denomination and as a church, we are not believers in the concept of overarching dogmas. What we do have is a promise that is made to ourselves and to each other. And so with that, we will do the covenant that we have come, I believe it's from James Philip Blake. Oh, chalice lighting first. You're right. I had the covenant there. Did I mention the rhythm? Don't have it. Next, we'll begin with the lighting of the chalice, and I believe Sarah will be doing so. And the words should be up on the screen. Oh, that's right. God, I'm so out of it today. Yep. Neighbors woke me up at 3 in the morning. What are you going to do? Would you be so kind? See, now we do the covenant? Awesome. In any case, we do the covenant twice, the first time in English and the second time in Spanish as a form of solidarity with, well, those who are being affected by the times that we have right now. And so, love is spirit of this church, the quest for truth its sacrament, and this is our covenant, all together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another believe more fully in life. El amor es el espíritu de nuestra iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad, nuestro sacramento, y esto es nuestro acuerdo, que convivamos en paz, que busquemos la verdad en el amor, y que nos ayudemos uno al otro, ir más en la vida. Yay. And now, if I may, we have our next hymn, 347, Gather the Spirit.
Did I change the key for this?
I know sometimes when we return home for Thanksgiving or for a holiday, you can find an empty seat, but there is still room for stories. Essentially, as humans, aren't we narrative creatures? There's a part of us that is a story, one worth sharing in the living and in the passing. Speaking of gratitude, well, first I should say my name's Reverend Juniper Meadows. It's my pleasure to serve as your settled minister here at Second Unitarian Church of Omaha on this snowy, snowy day. I'm so grateful for those of y'all who made it out, and for everyone joining us on Zoom. Welcome, friends. And we wrap up our exploration of gratitude as a theme this month, leading into next month's theme of hope. These are intimately connected expressions of the spirit and the mind, and to root us in that time, I want to share with you a special meditation by the former president of our denomination, and someone I like a whole lot, Reverend Susan Frederick Gray. It is a gratitude meditation, and she writes that I invite you, as you are willing, into this time of meditation and reflection and into this practice of gratitude. If you like to write as a way of reflection, if you happen to have a pen on you, friends, you can use your order of service, or friends at home, if you have a pen or a pencil, feel free to pull it out. Feel free to grab that and journal on a piece of paper. And it's also okay if you don't have that, just to find a comfortable position to sit in or stand in, or whatever is most comfortable for you and your body to help you feel at ease. I would say not to lie down because you might fall asleep. But hey, that's okay if you need to sleep. First, friends, I invite you to take a few relaxing breaths in and out. Those deep breaths that go all the way within you. You may close your eyes if you feel so led, or you can keep them gently open, whatever you are most comfortable with. Breathe in a way that feels comfortable and relaxing. And I invite you at first just to pay attention to your body. Is there a location of tension or pain? If so, imagine breathing your breath into that part of your body, just like you would breathe into your lungs. Imagine the breath expanding that area of tension, and then breathing out through that pain or tightness, feeling the muscles release with the out-breath. With breathing in, expand your attention in any area of tension. Breathe out through that area, allowing that tension to release piece by piece. Breathing in through areas of tension, and out, letting go of that tension or pain if you can. Now, I invite you to bring your attention to your heart space, to your chest, or maybe your abdomen. Gentle breaths, breathing that feels natural and relaxing. Just be aware of anything that you are feeling. If you are feeling joy or calm and peace, if you're feeling sadness or grief or anxiousness, that's okay. Just be aware of it. Breathe alongside that feeling. Offer yourself compassion for whatever may be present to you right now. As you continue to breathe, You may ask yourself if there's anything or anyone you are feeling grateful for. Ask yourself in your heart, what or who are you grateful for? Is there anyone who is caring for you, showing you care, inspiring you, comforting you? Anyone who you love? Anyone to whom you are grateful? Hold that person, those people, visualize them, feel their presence. Hold them in the gratitude that you feel for them. Breathe in that feeling of gratitude and breathe out that gratitude for those loved ones. I invite you to take a few more breaths. As you do so, you might think about anything about this day. What comes to mind? Anything that's happened? Anything that you're looking forward to? If you are near a window, perhaps you can feel the light on your skin. Call to mind the roads cleared by people who woke up early this morning to make that possible for us. Just be present to whatever it is. Take it in. Hold in your attention anything that you are grateful for from this day, that you're grateful to be looking forward to in this day. Anything that is present for you right now. Just hold that gratitude and that attention in your heart, in your mind, as you breathe in and out gently. With a few more breaths, imagine opening that heart space in your chest or your abdomen wide, asking if there's anything else you're grateful for. Your friends, your community, this faith, connections that you appreciate and feel attentive to. Open your heart to other things in your life and this moment that you are feeling grateful for. Hold those in your attention. Breathe in that feeling of gratitude. Breathe in imagining or holding in your mind those people, those things, those connections. Breathe in that gratitude. It is also okay if some of our relationships are mixed with other emotions besides gratitude. Be present to that. Breathe it in. As you continue to breathe, take a moment to hold in your attention all of these connections, all these relationships, all these gifts. Bring them to your attention again, together. Breathe in the gratitude you feel. Breathe out gratitude across those connections. As you are ready, as you continue to breathe gently, you could bring your attention back to this time, to your body, and to one another gathered in meditation. As we close this time of meditation, and as you breathe gently, I invite you to offer a word in silence or whispered, a word of gratitude for these gifts that sustain and hold and make us who we are. Blessed be. Amen. We move into our time of altar building, a time for you to shake off the snow, to be up and about and through this space and make some meaning with the symbols we have before us. Casey's getting our box. Thank you, Casey. I'll say first, that normally I say this to the end, but where you are at is as sacred a place as any, friends. If none of these stations speak to you, that's okay. But if you feel like being up and about this space, that's okay too. Here in this basket, we have two things. We have stones and we have flowers, because just like a life that contains the heavy and the light and the beauty and the heartbreak, so it is. Flowers of fellowship, friends. If you see a friend, thanks, Dave, you can give a flower to a friend. You can keep one for yourself. There's not too many of us this morning, so take one, take four. There's plenty of flowers. And we also have stones, which are meant to mark something we're meaning to lay down. So take up a stone and feel it in your hand. Feel that weight. And what is weight? It's a property brought on by the mass of the whole planet, pulling everything to the center. Feel that weight. Feel that gravity. And connect it to something you're trying to lay down. And when you are ready, and give it back to the water. Deep calls to deep. And here we have some candles. Friends, if there's something you would like to mark through this week or on this day or in your life, I invite you to take a stick and carefully give it to the flame. It's like love, right? It does not extinguish the candle anymore to take fire from it and pass it to another candle. Do make sure your stick is put out all the way in the salt, and if you're younger, friends, I invite you to get an old person to help you with this, or an older person. Here we have our book of life. Now we'll have time for shared from the pulpit prayers of the people, but if there's something you would like to share in the book, you can write whatever you want here, friends. A prayer, a poem, a brief reflection. You can sign your name, you can stay anonymous. Friends on Zoom, the chat box is your chat box of life, and Tom will share his phone with me, and we will read from the chat box for you. And of course, if you would also like to be spotlit during our time for spoken sharing, make sure you raise your hand or make yourself known to Sarah so she can spotlight you. Can't help the power, friends, but so grateful for our people who are moving so quick to make things. Hey, look at that. How about that? All righty. Well, friends, after that excitement, I invite you to join me in a moment of prayerful contemplation and reground in the moment. We're here. We made it. Spirit of life, spirit of love and opportunity in the ashes, spirit that calls us back into the fray of the day and the time, no matter what comes knocking. Spirit of one another, which makes life possible. We gather on this snowy and cold day with some parts of the roads and ice, some of us making good decisions to stay home, some of us making brave decisions to be here, all filled with a kind of gratitude nonetheless, for it all, for all that may be and all that is. And so we lift up these prayers of the people. From our friends on Zoom, Sue Ashinger, lifts up that her gratitude list is a long one, but the church holds a special spot. And Melissa says the same. Pam Hansen writes, I'm grateful that my mom, Jerry, is here beside me today after 2 brain surgeries, a spinal drain, and a fall. She is recovering nicely from all of the above. Ember writes gratitude for Ashley's story. Ray says, the power is on in Joshua Tree. Nice to hear, everyone. And Rochelle writes, I am grateful for my family and Eric Koenig. He is doing so well and hitting so many milestones while he is away. I'm grateful for the life we will have once he is home. I'm also grateful for my children and to see them grow and learn. And Dave writes, grateful beyond words for the opportunities of the last few months. Amen. Blessed be. And we have a few moments, friends. Whether you're in person or on Zoom, you come forward and share a gratitude, a need. This is your time.
I'm Tom Peterson, and I just want to offer some words of gratitude. First, Ashley and her story should have come with a trigger warning, but in our family, this is our first Thanksgiving without my father, who passed away at the first of this month. And we've had a lot of ups and downs if you've been with us for the last few weeks. In addition to that, my wife had a health scare, but this week we think we've got some answers, and it turns out that it's not a structural or biological defect. It turns out it may have been a medication caused. So those are things that can be addressed, and for that we're grateful. Grateful to all of you for the support, grateful to our families, and grateful to the medical community and the EMTs and everybody else who has propped us up for these last 4 weeks. So much love and gratitude to all of you. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Casey Horpetal. My daughter Sarah encouraged me to briefly give thanks for the life that we all have and to recognize the frailty of life. As I was driving home from work on Monday, a deer ran into me. I didn't run into the deer, it ran into me as I wasn't moving very fast, but it was quite a scare, and the car is in the body shop and damaged pretty badly. But it was a reminder how quickly things can be taken from us, and I was very fortunate that I wasn't hurt, and I'm very thankful for the health of me and my family. So.
Hello, I'm Vicki Pratt, and for the last around 6 months, I was not able to drive because of a stroke, and I am so thankful for everyone in this congregation for their good thoughts and for their rides. I am so grateful for everyone who was giving a ride, and I was cleared to be able to drive again, so yay.
Hi, I'm Sherry Cody. I want to say I'm grateful to have made it to the age that I am, and especially grateful to my kids who planned a birthday celebration in Key West. We were there for almost a week and just had the most terrific time together, and lots of good food, lots of good memories, and I just have the best kids in the world.
Anyone on Zoom? reading.
Excuse me. A poem by Ronya Maria Reiki. Rilke. I apologize. God speaks to each of us as they make us, then walks us silently out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You, sent beyond your recall, go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like a flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand.
Before I segue straight into the homily, friends, just real quick announcement. So given the snow and the cold weather and our technology kerfuffles, we're going to hold off on our open mic for tonight. We'll be back next month, God's willing, on the last Sunday of the month. However, if the roads are okay, check the Discord, stay attuned, but we'll try to have our pub theology tomorrow evening at Krug Park. So do pass through with Dave and maybe Toma and maybe some new friends for our pub theology. This month, we've spoken of gratitude in many terms, more than a simple feeling or a disposition of appreciation. We've named gratitude in the manner many of the luminaries of our tradition have defined it, as the very grounds of religious sentiment, as the primary religious impulse, the raw stuff that comprises a life of faith. That's a big word, faith. We'll get to that. It's no mean or meager thing, neither to be taken lightly nor direly, but to be deeply experienced and transmuted into action via the alchemy of spirit and mind, tempered into reality by the fires of relationship, moving in the hand, giving life the shape of justice, goodness, and love. But why this? Why gratitude? It is a marketable emotion, right? It gets plasticized into a one-size-fits-all form of warm fuzzies. Safe and secure with very low stakes. I would argue, actually, the stakes are incredibly high. Far too many people lose hope, lose the spark of life, and for any number of reasons not due to their fault. Mental illness, spiritual anguish, loneliness, anxiety, fear of the future, doubt in our abilities. These and other forces of wounding are, if not always manifest by, are certainly intensified by painful modern realities. Too many to name, to be sure. From climate change to the rise of populist fascist sentiments to attacks on our immigrant friends to the maligning of queer and trans people to folks worried about their insurance premiums spiking, all due to the lazy-handed and small-hearted whims of elected officials. Y'all, there is a lot to fear. What is gratitude to make of such trials? If it were just a feeling, not much. I'd wager that the wicked powers that be would be content for us to just stop there. Go no further. Should gratitude advance beyond an attitude and into action, that could spell real trouble for folks with their thumb on the scales of power. And why? Gratitude in its most earnest and effective form leads us away from relying upon sheer impulse, the urge to throw whatever we can into the hole in our heart to block up the onslaught of sorrow. It takes us back to what really matters, what really keeps us here. It guides us to the ground of our being, in which we may sow seeds of hope. Hope and gratitude are intimately connected, as a tree is to the soil that roots it. And just as a tree planted in unsuitable, poor, or stony soil, may wither before it can grow, so too does hope, both as a feeling and as a force. They rely upon the seeker's capacities to cultivate a rich sense of gratitude. You'll often find hope defined as a feeling, an optimistic perspective towards the future, the good vibe that things are just going to work out. You can hear it in the words of luminaries like our own Reverend Theodore Parker, who first stated that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And this is all good and well. But of course, we must avoid the idolatries of the mind and spirit. A hope unmoored from reality and ungrounded from gratitude is certainly just that, an idolatry. Those who live upon hope must go on fasting, as they say. But those who live their hope, who make it real in their actions, these may be the ones who truly affirm life despite its hardships, despite its uncertainty. Even if these hopes go unrealized, hope remains. Even if you struggle to light a candle, the central candle still burns. Gratitude, the sort that takes us out into the world, is the raw stuff of real courage. It does not necessarily happen overnight, that big feeling of gratitude. Sometimes it starts small. This is why we speak of such gratitude as a practice and a discipline. It's a thing we have to return to. Acknowledgement of appreciation, which leads to action, is what we're talking about. Sometimes we may have to get creative, y'all. We may have to pry our gratitude from the jaws of existential absurdity. We may struggle and suffer still, and yet there is a potential, even if only in the realization that in all the vastness of space and time and all the possibilities, all the ways life can arrange itself, that we are who and how and what we are, creatures endowed with a sense of themselves and an awareness of others. One who takes an honest look into the whole of their lives must find that there is love somewhere. None of us have made it to who or where we are, wherever and however we are, wholly on our own. This is what we mean when we speak of being loved into realness. While there is cause for grief, there coexists cause for hope. Hope as a feeling, but more importantly, hope as a purpose. Hope as the self-perpetuating feedback loop of action. For why would we act if we felt as if nothing would change? And herein lies a great cultural problem, I believe. I reckon many folks, far too many folks, have become convinced that change just isn't possible. Or if it is, it's too chaotic and unpredictable to bother with. Even otherwise well-intentioned folks who perhaps may not be utterly hateful at heart may throw all caution to the wind and throw their hat on the side of destructive forces, which brazenly flaunt their desire to burn critical institutions to the ground, to stir up trouble with our neighbors, imperfect as these institutions and neighbors may be. Certainly, change is needed. Our cultural and societal institutions are likened to a hall of precious antiques in need of reorganizing, certainly. Isn't it so much harder to reorganize the proverbial china shop when there is a bull rampaging through the halls? Hope in the face of such forces isn't some idle luxury of those who would sit on one hand and suck on the other thumb, right? It's not that. Hope belongs to those who would reckon with how they have been loved into this world. And feeling such gratitude would then be compelled to love this world into such realness, even as they sow the seeds of great trees under whose boughs they may never take shade. Hope belongs to the change makers and the dream weavers and the storytellers, the rabble-rousers. Hope belongs to the gratitude from which it rises. Earlier this year, we eulogized the great eco-philosopher and change-maker and translator of the poem by Rilke we just heard, Joanna Macy, a woman who committed her all and everything to teaching the essence of this message. She called it the work that reconnects. And in that work, she begins with gratitude, not as some escape, but as a grounding force. In her work, gratitude is what places us in direct relationship with life. It restores a sense of self-sufficiency. It counteracts the numbing that's induced by fear, overwhelm, consumerism. Such gratitude opens us to a world of belonging. I hope you can Find such gratitude, friends, and feel it yourself. Because true gratitude is a revolutionary sentiment. It calls us away from stories of scarcity into an intimate awareness of the abundance provided by the earth, made real in relationships. Gratitude quiets the frantic mind. It softens the heart. It makes us more available to the world and aware of the possibilities of transformation. And this is the very foundation of hope, and particularly the sort of hope that is itself a sort of practice. Now, because hope as a feeling can fluctuate, right? It's determined by the particulars of belief. It's sort of a house of cards. Even if you glue it together, it could be prone to collapse. But hope as an action is not contingent on outcomes even. It invites us to participate in the healing of the world. It emerges from our deepest values. Hope arises from love. I'm reminded of the words of the Apostle Paul in that much-loved verse, 13 Corinthians, often read at weddings. In the NIV version, it's written, "Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. For now we see only a reflection, as in a mirror. Then what we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known." And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. Gratitude feels, to me, like a form of faith. Insofar as we might understand faith to be more than simple belief, if we may reckon with faith as the sort of deep acknowledgement that something grounds us in this moment beyond ourselves. It's understandable if such a definition of faith feels far away. It is a complicated and weighted term. I often think of faith in that politic term as our ultimate concern. And should our ultimate concern be the unveiling of bonds, the tending of a relationship, the expansion of love within and around us, such a faith would be more than sufficient for the title. And so maybe the apostle is onto something here. Faith, hope, and of course, love. For it is love which these feelings, these forces, ultimately spring from. Such a gratitude, such a faith, reconnects us to what it means to be alive, the wonder and the beauty and the awe of being here. This sort of reconnecting allows us to face what is hard, what is scary, and what is painful without shutting down, because we know we aren't in it alone, because we know where we come from, because we know folks will give us rides or help us out. We know that folks have our back and our floor and our front and our above. We know that we are surrounded by love if we would but seek a place where such a thing would be made true. Once we face the pain of uncertainty, the fear of asking, all of this, we can become agents. An agent, not mere victims, friends, of circumstance or chance, but actual agents. This agency is what makes active hope possible. Joanna lays it out as a spiral, from gratitude to presence to courage to agency to active living hope. A spiral as each turn increases our ability to stay present in the world. So this is more than wishful thinking. This is waking up to the beauty of life, our belonging to the planetary matrix, to borrow a word from Ursula, to the whole of this earth and its children, and acting on its behalf. Gratitude is this waking up. It turns us to presence, which turns us to relationship, which turns us to responsibility. Responsibility returns us to hope and to the work of loving this world into such realness. Gratitude and hope fundamentally complement one another, as in a dance around the heart of fire that is that love that we feel. We are all here, sent out beyond our recall, wondering for what it is we have come into this world, always asking the sacred questions we've been asking since we were children. Why? Why this? Why that? Why me? Let us go to the limits of such longing, embodying love in the world through the relationship between the grounds of gratitude and the seeds of hope that we plant. We can endure and thrive through more than we know, returning and turning again towards the very hope and gratitude that have led us so far without losing them. This is very serious work, friends. There is so much at stake. And yet we need not meet the serious with a dire heart, because this is playful work. So let it be a dance. We should have our chalice extinguishing on the screen, do we? Wonderful. Dave, will you extinguish our chalice? Or Sarah will. Thanks, Sarah. Big help. Friends, will you read our chalice extinguishing as Sarah extinguishes it? We extinguish this flame,
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And our doxology.
Praise love from which all goodness shines. Praise freedom lifted to the skies. Praise the fires of the mind. Praise all the joy we've yet to find.
Prophetic Church, this world awaits your liberating ministry. As we go from this place, let us be fools for love and pilgrims for justice, and until we meet again, may we rock, roll, and move towards that spirit of beloved community on the horizon. Go in peace. Drive safe.